Hello, welcome to Smile JV. My name is Brendan G. Today I'm going to give you a couple of tips that are my personal opinion on how you can buy a car safely from Japan over the internet. We have heard a few stories of people getting themselves into trouble. This usually happens when the car that people pay for gets changed. In other words, the car never existed in the first place. Sometimes people lose all their money. And this usually happens because sellers advertise cars that they do not have. Once they have your money, they then go and buy another car. The best way, or the first thing that you really need to look closely at, is the advertisement. And there's a couple of telltale signs. The first one is, are the number plates covered up? Why would they do that? Are they real photos, or are they just photos taken from an auction database? Is the background blurred? Are there very few photos? Obviously, if you're trying to sell a car, you'd have as many photos as possible. Or is the price really low? They can advertise the cars at lower prices because they don't own them. Once they get your money, they go and buy another car that's cheaper. If you think, or actually with any car that you consider buying, you really should do a proper check of documents, and it's easy to do. You just have to ask for a few things. The first one is the export certificate. This has the name of the owner, it has the VIN or the chassis number on the car, it also has some dates on it when the export certificate was issued and when it expired, and you can also check the mileage from the export certificate. You also need to match that with photos, or better still, a movie of the car which shows the VIN or the chassis. You can then match that to the export certificate. The other thing you can ask for is the auction report. That's an independent inspection from the auction house. Most of the cars in Japan come from an auction house in the first place, and you can see if the car's ever been in an accident. You can also match the VIN number, and you can get a good idea on the condition of the car. You can have a look at some more information on our website, and you can also log into the auction database to check cars. And I'll give you a quick example of that now. I've just done a quick search on one of the bigger advertising websites on a few cars, a few BMW M Sports that we're competing against. So you can see here's our car in the middle. We've got our car, nice photos. We've got as many photos as possible because we really want to sell the car. And we've got our logo or our number plate, our Smile JV number plate. So it's fairly obvious that we own that car. The car underneath us, now I'm not saying this company's done anything wrong, but there's only got a few photos, they've got a blurred background image and the number plate's covered up. You'd have to ask why. Why would you do that? If you tried to sell a car, wouldn't you have as many photos as possible? This seller's actually even got a 5-star rating from PayTrade. PayTrade ratings are good if you look at the comments and if you look at how many ratings there are. You can see with us we've got 22 ratings. 22 people have said yes. No one has ever not recommended us. It's very easy to get a 5-star rating if you only get 1 or 2 people, or you can get a really bad rating if you have a lot of problems. The car above us is really interesting. This car, as you can see, it's only got a very few photos and they look like auction photos to me. Have a good look at that photo, because I'm now going to show you this same car that's coming up for auction tomorrow in the Japanese auction database, and you can access the database via our website. Have a look at that photo. You can see it's a BMW M Sports with a sunroof. They've got the yellow line down the side of the car. They're saying it's got 41,500 kilometres and the registration year and month is 2001, or in July 2001. So here's our auction database, and you can access this via our website, and that looks exactly the same as that car there, which is coming up for auction tomorrow. If we look at the auction report, we can see the kilometres are almost identical, 41,200. The year is 2001, 13 is the Japanese year for 2001, and it's registered in July. It's also got the VIN number. It's fairly common that some advertisers will put cars on there that are coming up for auction. Once you pay, they're hoping that you will pay before the auction. Now, it's very unlikely at 7 o'clock on a Friday night, that car's coming up for auction tomorrow. I would think it's very unlikely that anyone would be able to pay for money by tomorrow. And it's probably unlikely that that seller would be able to sell that car for that price anyway, because they're saying it's got 550,000 yen there. In the auction system, they're saying the average bid price for this car is 540,000 yen. Now, it costs a lot more than that just to buy the car. You have to pay taxes, auction fees. They would have to sell that car for about 640,000 to make any profit. So here's how you can check to make sure a car is genuine. And once again, I think it's good to do this with any car. Here's an example of the BMW on our website. We've got photos of the car. We've also got a photo of the VIN. And we've also got a movie. In the movie, we can try and get a shot of the VIN. So you can be sure that that car has the VIN number that we say it does. The other document that's really important is the export certificate. And on this document, you can see that it's got the name of the owner, which is Smile JV, that's us. The VIN number is the same VIN number that's in the photos. Down the bottom, it's got the date that the export certificate was issued, and it's also got the expiry date. Now, if those dates are very old, you'd have to question, really, is the car genuine or is it just an old car? The other really good thing that you can ask for is the auction report. So here's our BMW. You can see that it's got the same VIN number or the same chassis number. It's got the same mileage, and it's grade 4B. So it's a fairly good, it's a good indication that the car is a good quality car and it's in stock. We can also check the mileage. We have another video about how to check mileage, but if the mileage has been tampered with, there'll be a star or a dollar sign next to the kilometres. So it's now November 2012. This car's got 51,500 kilometres on it. If we have a look at the export certificate, they're saying down here that in 2010 it had 45,000 kilometres, and in 2008 it had 36,000 kilometres. So we're matching the photos with the export certificate to prove that we own the car, and we can also check the mileage. So there's just a quick example on how you can check cars, make sure that they're genuine, make sure that advertisements are genuine. And if you want more information, have a look on our website, and you can also log into the Japanese auction system and look at cars. And you can also, if you're a Smile JV member, you can also look at the last 3 months, and you can search for any car that's sold in Japan in the last 3 months and work out if it's genuine. Thanks for watching.